You've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the primetime capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And, man, it is a day today, isn't it? It's just a day. It's a day for us to go ahead and try to get ourselves some good winners going on and all that good stuff, because that's what it's all about. Because it's Monday. And Mondays are always made for starting the week off the right way, in my opinion. I always think that, you start winning, you come out winning on Monday, everything's all good. But let's talk about the weekend real quick. Let's talk about the great games that went down over the weekend. And up first, let's go ahead and talk about the game that we saw last night, which was the first game of the day yesterday, which was the Sixers and the Celtics arch rivals there. Harden drops 42 to help 76ers even series with Celtics. Now it's 2-2 and it's 1-16, 115 win in Philly. It was an absolutely incredible performance from James Harden. And it just is something that you'll forever remember because the way he went about the game, because he had a young man in the building who actually was a part of a situation at Michigan State in Lansing where he was shot and paralyzed. And so he's been talking to this young man, helping him get back into, helping him get back healthy and everything like that. He's paralyzed, he can't walk, he's in a wheelchair, but still the guy is seems to be getting motivated by the day because he has James Harden there in his corner. He was a diehard James Harden fan. James Harden found out about this, and James Harden made sure that he had contact with this young man, and then he made sure that he was able to come to a game as soon as he was able to come to a game because he had to still rehab and everything like that. But Harden drops 42. He went 16 of 23 yesterday. He had 6 of 9 from the three. This was a vintage Harden playoff game as well. So, it was amazing to see him reach that level, but it was sort of like a old Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, little Timmy's last wish type of game. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly what happened here with Harden going about his business the way that he did, dropping that 42 points. But Joel Embiid was huge yesterday. He had 13 rebounds with 34 points. And then PJ Tucker was very instrumental in being very verbal to the team yesterday. He even put Joel Embiid back in his in the right headspace as well too. He scored 6 points yesterday, had 3 rebounds, 2 of them offensive boards as well. Tobias Harris was a little off yesterday, 3 for 10, only had 9 points. Maxey had 14 himself, so it was pretty good. But when you look at the end-all stats of the game, the Celtics did a lot better when you really look at everything. Celtics were better on the offensive board by 1. They also out-assisted the 76ers by 625 to 19. They also had 12 blocks yesterday as well too. Now they did have 10 turnovers. That was the difference. And the 76ers had 9 steals. Now, when it came down to it, they got a great effort from their de facto big three and Tatum, Brown, and Smart. Tatum getting 24, Brown getting 23, and Smart getting 21. Brogdon had 19 off the bench as well. White and Horford had 12 and 10 apiece. So they got a good effort from their top 6 guys, but it just wasn't enough at the end of the day. The Celtics found themselves in a lot of bad positions in that game. And I felt like pretty much what happens here is that you have Philadelphia play for a moment. You know what I mean? They played for a big moment. They wanted to make sure that they won for that kid, that won for the young man that was at the game. So I think that was more of we're gonna go a little bit harder than we usually do. But the Celtics had that game won plenty of times the other last night as well too. So I do expect a really good game coming up in Boston, but it tends to lean a little bit more towards the Celtics. The Celtics actually have been the better team in this series as well too. 76ers have had their moments, but it seems like it's too and few. Like they this was the first game yesterday where they actually had a significant lead for a while as well too. They had only led about 11% of the series going into yesterday. So there's just a lot of things that have to get done for the 76ers to actually win the series, but that was a great emotional effort and a great win for their home crowd that really was really into that victory yesterday. So let's go ahead and move forward and get into our next topic, and that's going to be the game of games last night. Jokic drops 53 points, but wasn't enough to win as Booker and KD dropped 36 points each to combine for 72 to lead the Suns past the Nuggets 129 to 124. Now, the Nuggets are another team where it's like literally you had to have these outer body efforts to beat them. It happened. You had to do this twice. Now, I'm looking at Jokic's numbers last night. Absolutely incredible. He's the first ever guy to get 53 points and 11 assists in a playoff game. And the craziest part about it is he's a center who doing all this. So he got 11 assists as the center, but he had 6 turnovers as well too. So the point center is kind of going to work. But what everybody was tripping off of last night, the guy had 53 points on 20 of 30 shooting and hit 11 of 13 free throws last night. Somebody said Jamal Murray was the problem last night. Jamal Murray had 28 points last night in 42 minutes. And pretty much he's been logging a lot of minutes as well. He played 3 more minutes than Jokic. And he had 7 assists and 5 rebounds. I think he had a hell of a game yesterday. Aaron Gordon could have been better. He had 11 yesterday. And then Michael Porter Jr. had 11 as well, too. They could have been a little bit better in the game. They logged a lot of time in this game. And then they got some good minutes from Bruce Brown and from Jeff Green, the old vet. But they only got 11 points from their bench. Now, everything else came from the starting 5. And Jokic scored a big amount of their points as well, too. And I know Jokic really didn't want to do that, but it is what it is at the end of the day. But I think what happened last night with the Nuggets is this. They didn't use their bench enough. They got good guys on that bench like Reggie Jackson who know how to go right at the Phoenix Suns. You got DeAndre Jordan, a guy that can get you some rebounds and get you guys going a little bit. And, you got Thomas Bryant, who's a good offensive play as well, too. So they're only using so many people off their bench. And I think that they possibly need to be using a couple more guys off their bench, to be honest with you. And Christian Braun's not one of them. So, Suns, great effort, but the Suns only had 3 double-digit scores yesterday. So that effort from Durant and Booker was huge. 36 points apiece. Durant played 43 minutes, which is a bit too much, in my opinion, for a guy with the injury he has, and Booker played 40 minutes. But that's because Booker had 5 fouls as well, too. So Booker got that much time with that many fouls as well. So that's absolutely incredible. A guy goes 14 for 18, 3 or 4 from the three-point line, and also hits 5 or 6 from the free throw, and has 12 assists as well, too. So, Devin Booker is really coming of age. I know that he got his 73 points a lot real early in his career. People got really excited about it and was like, oh, baby Kobe, blah, 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 blah. But I think, though, at the end of the day, that there is a fine lining when it comes to Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a hell of a player. He doesn't have to prove anything else to us as fans, as critics, as anything. We know what he can do. We know what he's capable of doing, and he's been absolutely incredible here in these last 2 games against the Denver Nuggets. He scored 47 in Game 3. He scored 36 last night. So when you do the math on that situation right there, the guy has scored 83 points in the last 2 games. That means pretty much he's averaging 42 points in both of those in the last few games. So it's absolutely incredible what he's doing. He's only not scored 30 in the playoffs twice this year as well. But let's keep it real. They had to do a lot to get this win, and they needed 19 extra points from Shamet because they got nothing from Aiden. Aiden went 8 for 8 last night. Yeah, you did well in the rebounding category, but you didn't do well in the scoring category. Campaign, you're not going to get much from him ever. He had 5 points last night, and then Koji only had 4. So when you look at the bench after Shamet, they only had 21 points, because they got 8 from Ross, they got 8 from Lindell, and they got 5 from Warren. This was good, but it wasn't good enough. That 19 points put them over the top, because if you take away that 19 points, they lose by 14. So this is really a tough series for the Phoenix Suns, because they had to do all that to win the game. Now, when you look at the stats of this game, Denver just didn't shoot well. Denver was 7-22 from the 3. Phoenix wasn't that much better, but they went 13-29 from the 3. And then they went 17-23 from the free throw line, a little bit under for 74%, while the Suns shot 24 for 29. So you see the discrepancies and things like that. And then you see that the Nuggets actually shot just as well as the Suns. They shot over 56%, while the Suns shot over 56% as well. And it's funny because they tried 8 more shots than the Suns as well too, and made 4 more shots than the Nuggets. So, pretty much they had the possessions in their favor, because they forced 13 turnovers on the Suns last night, and they had 6 steals as well. But they lost the rebounding battle 37-32, and I know they want to be better than that today, because Jokic loves the fact he had 53 points, but he hates the fact he only had 4 rebounds. That to him is him not doing enough. So pretty much with that, I think what happens here is that we have ourselves a very good series coming up, but I think that hold the phone real quick when you really that excited about the Suns being back in the series. The Suns have did enough to be back in the series, but they're still not getting enough. And Chris Paul is going to miss this game as well too. So they're not going to get Chris Paul back until game 6. And right now, a lot of people are kind of contemplating, are they going to suspend Jokic after what happened last night with him shoving the team owner of the Denver of the Phoenix Suns? It wasn't anything that he intently did. What the problem was in that situation, I'm just going to be real quick about it, was there was about 3 fans touching Jokic at the same time. One of them was Isaiah Thomas. One of them was some random guy in a black shirt who just had a drink in his hand, who felt the need to just touch Jokic's arm. And then there was another guy that touched Jokic, and then the owner touched Jokic. And so you have all these people touching your arm and touching you while you're trying to get a basketball to go back into a game. Then you wind up shoving over the person that's the closest to you. So I don't think Jokic purposely tried to shove over the owner, but I think that the fans had way too much participation in the moment. It's just give the damn ball up so we can get the game going again. It shouldn't take this long for you to hand the ball over to a player or to a ref. You know what I mean? It's not your basketball. Just watch the game. We know that you bought tickets. We know that you got seats. We know that it costs a lot of money. We know you own the team. But just throw them the damn basketball and stop making everything about yourself, okay? So that's literally what it was last night. If they suspend Jokic for what happened, that's absolutely stupid. A fine, yes, but suspending him, that is absolutely dumb. And I know a lot of people are like, well, he broke the rules and he touched the fan. The fan touched him first. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. But let's move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's NBA playoff preview. We got tonight's games. We got some really good games as well. Too. And so let's go ahead and jump into it. It's going to be the Knicks and the Heat. The Knicks and the Heat. This is going to be a very, very fun game. I see a lot of the good things happening in this game as well too. And there goes my graphic for Jokic and KD. Man, what a game last night by KD and Booker, though. 72 points combined last night. That's absolutely incredible. KD might have found a guy. He might have found his real scoring buddy in this league with him and Devin Booker, because their games are just so complimentary towards each other. But I just want to show you guys that. But we got the Knicks and the Heat. Game 4, we got the Heat up 2-1 in the series, the 8 seed. Not a true 8 seed, but the way that the playoffs worked out this year, that's where they're at. So you have a Knicks team that's 1-2. they're looking to even up this series before they go back to New York today. So I truly do feel that this one will wind up being a very fun series in a sense. I think that a lot of us have a lot of different ideas about where to go to here tonight, but the Knicks probably are underdog for a reason because a lot of people don't believe in what the Knicks are doing right now. Let's just keep it real. The Knicks, they feel like possibly that they're getting out coached, and now everybody's a big Eric Spoelstra fan, even though I've seen people on this saying on social media, in the papers and everything, critique Spoelstra pretty hard. I've always been a guy that's always been very, very, very adamant that he's one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA because of the job he did with LeBron and crew for those 4 years that they were together. And then he was able to continue the run after they got done because he learned how to coach players and, you know, he learned how to coach players on who they are. If you're a superstar, I know how to coach you. I know I had to coach you a little bit differently than everybody else. If you're a role player or something of that nature, I got to keep you inspired. I got to keep you motivated, and I got to make sure that you know when you earn your minutes, it's because I believe in you, and that's pretty much what Spoelstra has became, and this is why it helps out this Miami team right now. Seeding doesn't matter to this team. That's why they're doing so well as is. Now, they come into this series, Jimmy Butler is the X factor. Jimmy Butler it's the end-all be-all with Jimmy Butler. If they don't have Jimmy Butler playing, it's issues. Jimmy Butler is averaging almost 35 points a game here in the playoffs this year, and it's an absolutely gem to watch. I'm excited about the game coming up tonight. I am super excited about this game. You got the Knicks coming in here plus 4.5 point dog tonight, and they are the higher seed. You know what I mean? They're the 5 seed. So a lot of people probably have this idea that the Knicks are, pretty much kind of struggling a little bit here, but they're truly not. The Knicks just ran into what you run into. This is a tough playoff series. Miami took game 1, they took game 2, Miami took game 3, and always in the natural course of order, it feels like that this series is where they're trading off games, and really we don't know who the winner of this series is truly going to be. We've already had Miami win a road game. Knicks want to go ahead and sneak one back over here and win another road game. The Knicks actually have been good on the road in the playoffs because they were able to beat the Cavs 2 out of 3 in the first round. Now they come back. They had themselves a game where they got a real gut check. They got a real reality check that who they truly are. But when you really look at it, all who the Miami Heat have is Jimmy Butler, who's really just guiding these guys forward to just show that you've tried to win this game. And they keep winning the games because Jimmy Butler refuses to lose. But that's not every game. He's going to have games where he's going to have issues because he still has an ankle problem. So there's just a lot of things that play a part into this game. And I truly do feel that this one winds up being a really, really good game tonight. And I think that finally we'll be able to get over tonight. I think that we're going to get these two teams actually scoring points tonight, and that's what I'm looking at. And I'm also looking at the fact that a lot of people are now falling in love with the Heat. And every time it seems like everybody falls in love with the Heat, that's when the Heat really sit up there and bamboozle you. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I think the Knicks look like the play tonight, in my opinion, in this spot. I know that they got the odds against them, but I still feel like the Knicks can be the team in this spot tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move from there. Let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. And I couldn't wait to talk about this. We got the Lakers going against the Warriors tonight at the Crypto, a.k.a. the old Staples. I still call it Staples Center, man. Y'all can call it whatever you want, but that's the Staples Center, dog. You got this Laker team that's up 2-1 right now. Lakers have not lost a home game all playoff either. I don't want to knock on wood, but the Lakers are right now 4-0 at the house, because you got to understand they did beat the Grizzlies 3 times there, and they just beat the Warriors. Now the Warriors are the worst road team in the playoffs left over. They were the third worst road team in the NBA, right behind San Antonio and Houston, two teams that are going to be probably drafting in the top 5 this year. So they were really bad. But when you look at the numbers coming into the series, you got Curry averaging 30.6 a game. LeBron's averaging 22 a game. Now, Davis and Looney are having themselves a rebounding battle as well. Both are literally, Davis is just under 14 and Looney's just over 14. And you know what? This is a real good bright spot. D'Angelo Russell's averaging 6 assists a game, but Draymond Green is actually doing his thing right now. He's getting himself 7.6 assists a game. Now, one stat that just really sticks out to me is Anthony Davis having 4.1 blocks per game. Anthony Davis is such a stellar defensive player. I know a lot of people are really like, I need some offense. I need him to score. I need him to score. But his defense never wavers. And that's why I say that when he's struggling, we need other guys to step it up because he's playing good enough defense to where he's keeping you in the game. But you guys got to figure out a way to where you get him going in that game. I think that a lot of times it's just the way that they draw plays. And I don't think that they're doing enough for AD to get him open. They want to do everything with AD as if he's Shaq. And it just doesn't work like that. He's more of a finesse player. So you need to figure out ways to get AD a little bit more open if you want him scoring more. But AD's defense has been the catalyst for this team since they made their run in February. That's the whole thing. The defense is the key for the Lakers to keep winning these basketball games. Their offense is an offense that is a mood offense. It's a streaky offense. That means like when they're going, they're looking good, But when they're really bad, they're really bad. But when they can play steady defense throughout the game, the Lakers make themselves so much more of a threat. And that's why the Lakers were able to win that game by 30 points because they literally locked it down when they got down 11 points. And they sacrificed points to make sure they got stops. And then once they got themselves in check, they were able to put themselves in position to absolutely crush the Warriors because the Warriors are really a one-trick pony. The Warriors rely on three-point shots, and they rely on sneaky second-chance points. They're not that great of a team. They just play very well together. They have great chemistry. They're not scared to share the ball. And in all essences of the word, they really aren't into the superstar thing. Yes, Curry has taken on the role as their superstar, but they have this idea that next man up mantra. We can all hit these buckets. We can all go for 30 ourselves. So we don't have this hero ball, let's depend on one guy attitude. I feel that if Klay Thompson doesn't get off, the Warriors don't get off. You can have Steph go out there and score 100 points, but if he can't get 20 from Klay behind that, it's going to be a tough night for them. It's straight up. And Klay hasn't got off one time. And I'm telling you right now, Steph, they keep saying Steph hasn't went off. Steph is still averaging 20 points a game in the series at the end of the day. Because look at his numbers in this series. Okay, he scored 27 the first game. He scored 20 in the second game. He scored 23 in game 3. That right there is 70 points. Do the math. He's still averaging 20. He's still averaging literally 22 points a game in this series, or 25, 23, whatever. He's averaging 23 and a half points a game. So what's the real, what are you guys talking about? Like, seriously, he's still scoring. So there's not a problem. What? Because he didn't score 40 yet, but he's still consistently doing what he has to do. And he's actually playing pretty good games because, look, he had 12 assists in game 2. That absolutely led the show for them. He shot probably his best in that game out of all 3 games. He went 7 for 12, and he was 3 of 5 from 3. But the Lakers did contain him, and the Lakers only let him get the shots that they wanted to let him get. And it was difficult, but he was very efficient in that game, and it was his most efficient game of the playoffs as well too. If they get Curry to play like this, the Lakers are in trouble. But if you get Curry to go off and go crazy and do what he has to do, and have these big shooting highlights, then you could really go ahead and dust them off if you want to, because because Steph will play himself into a tizzy, and we all know that. So pretty much, this is a great game tonight. The Lakers cannot look at this game and say to themselves that they got it made because they went ahead and they blew them out by 30 on Saturday. The Lakers are still a 7 seed. The Warriors are still a 6 seed. The Warriors are still the world champions from last year. And this game is going to be a lot tougher than it looks on paper. A lot of people probably will be circling the Warriors to win this game tonight, even though they're saying Lakers, because everybody right now, you're putting the pressure on the Lakers. Oh, the Lakers can wrap the series up if they win tonight. There is no series being wrapped up until the Lakers win 4 games, until the Warriors win 4 games. This is a tough series for each team. So we can't just be over here handing people the series after they win the game. You have to win 4 games. That's when we hand you the series. So this is going to be a great game tonight. I look forward to it. I look forward to both games. I can't wait till the 4:30 tip-off. I possibly can go without watching the pregame show, but I cannot wait till we tip these games off in Miami, in LA, 2 of the prettiest places in the country. And man, I'm telling you now, it's going to be some great basketball going on in both games tonight. And I just think that this second round has taken on a life of itself as a very, very fun journey for us to follow as these teams chase that golden ball. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to jump into Blue Crew Daily and MLB Monday Night. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa, and I'll be right back at you.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Once again, this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into Blue Crew Daily. We got ourselves some really good games and everything like that going on today. But Blue Crew Daily, the Dodgers start their series today in Milwaukee for a 3-game set. And this might be one of their tougher series of the season outside of playing a team in the West like the Diamondbacks, who they played 8 times already, I think, and then playing the Padres, who they already played a few times, and the Rockies as well. So they've done well against their division, but they're starting to pick it up a little bit. They had some issues with the Pirates, but Pirates and Cubs and the Mets, they lost those series, but the Dodgers have won their last 3 series in a row. So they're going into this one with the idea that they're up against a pretty formidable foe in the Brewers. And the Brewers are actually a team that I got picked to win their division this year as well, too. Now, they did start off pretty good, but the Brewers have been kind of they've been kind of slacking a little bit. I won't sit up here and do that, but pretty much my thing is like this. I look at the Milwaukee Brewers as a team that they'll probably have a point in the season where they absolutely go nuts, but they have they've struggled here in the month of May to start it off. Now, in their first 6 games of this month, they've lost their last 5 out of 6, but they went ahead and stopped the bleeding yesterday with a good 7-3 win over the Giants. Now, it looked a little crazy when they got swept by the Rockies because nobody really saw that one coming. And then they messed around and lost 2 out of 3 to San Francisco. So they've been struggling a little bit. They've actually lost their last 6 out of 7 as well too. But this was coming off of a 3 after winning 3 in a row. Now, this team is trying to put themselves in position to stay afloat. They're not too far out in the Central right now. They're actually a half a game back to the Pirates, who actually got swept back-to-back in back-to-back series. They wound up getting swept by the Rays and the Jays over the weekend. So, that's what the Brewers have. But the Brewers got a good old vet on the mound today in Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta has a 3.63 ERA this year, 3-2 on the season, 41 strikeouts over 12 walks. In his last game, he did pretty good. He gave up 2 runs, 3 walks, but he struck out 10 and gave up 7 hits as well too. But this was in that Colorado game, and he did not factor into the decision. He hasn't factored into the decision since they lost to Boston not too long ago, because pretty much he had a great game that day, but they just couldn't step it up for him. But it seems like Freddie has been good at getting consistent outs here for the Brewers. But he had season high 10 strikeouts last game, and he's averaging almost 7 strikeouts per game as well too, from what I'm seeing when I look at my notes. So Freddie Peralta, long time Brewer, who's been really good with this team. He had a really good season last year, was really good back in 2021. So I think that he comes into this game tonight a very, very serious pitcher. The Dodgers had to take him very seriously. Now, Gosselin did very well in his first start against Pittsburgh. They only let him pitch 3 innings in a third, but he came back around, pitched against Philadelphia last week on Tuesday, wound up striking out 3, giving up 3 runs, but the Dodgers absolutely crushed them. So pretty much that wound up being a very good outing for Gosselin in the sense he kind of was able to just pitch in that game, but he still hasn't went long innings at all this year. So I don't expect him to go more than 5 today because the Dodgers are taking their time with Tony as well. But the Dodgers, all in all, absolutely incredible. They've won their last 8 out of 9. They got 2 really good sweeps last week as well. And they also went ahead and put up a nice amount of points as well, nice amount of runs as well, too. The Dodgers did give up 5 runs on Friday, but after that, they only gave up 3 for the rest of the weekend. So the Dodgers have been really good the last 10 games or so, and the Dodgers offense is starting to come alive. It's not all about just hitting home runs. It's just about getting runs in general. And I just can't get over James Outman being this good. James Outman yesterday made sure to extend the lead in the extra innings yesterday when he went ahead and hit a 2-run shot, and that would be his 8th home run of the season, and that's actually the second best on the team right now. Muncy has 12 himself, and then he has 23 RBIs on the season. The only thing that we want to clean up with Mr. Outman is the strikeouts, but he's young, he's a rookie, so we know. But he struck out 44 times this year. We're going to clean that up because that's something that is going to linger when he gets to the playoffs. Now, Chris Taylor's been playing some great baseball as well, too, and I really like what he's been doing as of late. Even though he has a 207 average, he did hit a nice 2-run shot. That's all the Dodgers needed to go ahead and win that game. But the Dodgers have been good this year. Mookie Betts is coming into his own as well, too. He's batting .254, but he got 6 home runs, over 19 RBIs, and then he also has 20 walks this year as well, too. But we got to get this guy stealing some bases as well. Outman actually has more stolen bases than Mookie right now, and Freddie Freeman. So we'll see how it goes. But no Dodger is batting .300 except for Will Smith. We got to get Freddie Freeman back up to par as well. So the Dodgers, all in all, They're looking good right now. Everything is coming into place the right way. And I just truly feel that there's going to be it's more time. And a lot of people keep telling me, oh, nobody's scared of the Dodgers. Nobody's this, nobody's that, nobody's this, nobody's that. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, the Dodgers don't care. The Dodgers have won 10 out of the last 11 West titles. So, at the end of the day, they know who they are, they know what they want to do, and they know where they want to go. So pretty much it is what it is. And, at the end of the day, this is what it's going to be. And I truly do feel like the Dodgers are making their move right now. We're in May. And as I said before, by mid-May, the Dodgers will start taking off and having these nice little streaks where they win 9 or 10 in a row, then bounce back around, win 6, 7 in a row. Then next thing you know, the Dodgers have 98 wins and are headed to the playoffs. So, the Dodgers just take it 1 week at a time. That's what we're really looking at. We know at the end of the day, we only get 5 to 6 games every week. So that's really how you base your season on, is a week by week, game by game situation. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into our MLB Monday night. And MLB Monday night should be a lot of fun. We got 11 games tonight in the MLB. I got 4 of them to talk about right now. So up first, let's go ahead and talk about this one right here, which is a good one, the Rays and the Orioles. This one is between the 2 best records in the MLB, and it seems like every week now the Rays are playing against a team that feels they have the best record in the MLB right behind them as well. So, last week it was the battle of the best in the NL and the best in the AL. The Tampa Bay Rays swept that situation with the Pirates because the Pirates really aren't the best team in the National League. They just coincidentally had the best record at that time playing against the Rays. Since that point, that team has lost 6 in a row. So pretty much they're coming back down to earth. But Baltimore, everybody's been hitting me up this morning like, Pop, I just can't believe that you were so on the money about these guys. I had them going over 78.5 wins as a dark horse playoff team. I felt like they could be the last team getting into the playoffs this year because how well they finished up last year in the AL East. Now they're sitting pretty in second place, only to the Rays. Right now, they're well ahead of the Yankees. They're well ahead of the Red Sox, and they're just a tad bit ahead of the Blue Jays. So, they're playing up to the potential that I knew that they could, because you have a lot of different guys on this team that have big future aspirations. Mountcastle, hell of a player. Frazier, doing a great job. Gunnar Henderson, another really fun player. Juan Mateo, another really good player. Also, Austin Hayes, very good player. And then my man, the guy that I just really feel like is the heart and soul of this team, Cedric Mullins. And Cedric Mullins does set the table, him and Mateo, with their stolen base acumen, because you got Mateo who's stolen 12 bases, you have Mullins who stolen 11 bases, and Frazier stolen 6. So when you have a team that's willing to do this and willing to manufacture runs and get runs any way necessary, this is a dangerous team. You got Mountcastle, who's hit 8 home runs this year, and he seems like when he's at home, he's really good. He's batting .252, but I know at home he's batting over .300. Now, when it comes down to their best player, in a sense, who is Cedric Mullins, in my opinion, Cedric Mullins is having a great year. Cedric Mullins has hit 4 home runs. He has 28 RBIs on the year, and he's walked 21 times as well, too. And he has 16 runs. But Mullins is doing everything that you're supposed to do as the leadoff man, as the leader of this team. And he hasn't really missed any games this year either. He's played in pretty much most of their games. And Santander, boy, oh boy, this guy is just destroying the ball when he gets a good pitch. But the guy that really pushes the team is Rutschman. Rutschman, the young catcher, he's doing a great job as a catcher, but he's also doing a great job as pretty much a young leader of this team as well. So you get really excited about what you see in the Orioles. But the Rays, man, at the end of the day, the Rays they got a unit, dude. And they've done a great job of being able to scout and put together their team on the farm and bring these guys up at the right time. They don't have to live with the fact of paying a guy $150 million to stick around with them because they always have somebody in the farm to replace him. Diaz right now is looking like the MVP of the MLB period. Yandy Diaz is having himself a season right now. 9 home runs, 19 RBIs, has walked as many times as he struck out, 20 walks to 21 strikeouts. So he's having an incredible year. He's batting 325 as well, too. You got Ramirez, who's batting 333 this year. He's doing an incredible job. And Arizarena is just absolutely a gem. He's actually has the best batting average on the team at 328. And it always seems like this guy is on base. He's hit 9 home runs this year as well, too, and has 30 RBIs. And actually, one thing he would want to fix, though, is striking out less and walking more. He's only walked 11 times to 33 strikeouts. So, those 3 guys right there, that 3-headed monster is absolutely insane right now. And they have stepped it up to the point to where this team is really thinking about doing it big in October. And can't forget about Franco either. Franco is just a tad bit under 300 right now, but he's playing incredible baseball as well, too. Has over 20 RBIs. And you just look at this group and you say to yourself, man, these guys are playing great baseball right now. And it's really, really tough to compete and say that, that this team might fizzle out. There's no fizzling out with the Rays. The Rays are going to be here. They're going to be the team to catch here in the American League. Do they win the World Series this year? I don't know. But right now, they do look like the team that will probably finish with the best record in baseball if we were to end the season today, because they're 28-7. It's that simple. But I do know that there's going to be some woeful days coming up for the Rays because you cannot avoid injuries. And I know that something's key is going to happen to this team very soon. Now, on the pitching end, they're doing a great job in that resort because their pitching has just been absolutely incredible this year. When you look at their starters, nobody's really had that big issues in their starting group. Their starting group keeps things very, 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 very simple here. And the Rays just got the best of both worlds going on. And when you have that going on, it's really tough to lose. But today, the Orioles really don't care. The Orioles went to a very tough Atlanta Truist Park last weekend, wound up beating them 2 out of 3. So pretty much I like the Orioles going into today's game because they have a tendency to keep winning every opening game of each series they've been in this year. So I'm going to take them as my dog of the day. I got them here at plus 155 as well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next game. It's going to be the Cubs and the Cardinals. This game is going to be at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. And pretty much we have ourselves a very unique matchup because you have a Cubs team that's sitting in third place in St. Louis. Believe it or not, last place right now as we speak. Now, the Cubs this month they've been decent. They're 3-4 right now. They won their last series, taking 2 out of 3. They lost yesterday, 5-4. But they look to bounce back after a little bit of a surprise, losing the 3 out of 4 to Washington. So they go into this one against the Cardinals, a team that they've already beat earlier in the season when they had themselves a series with them early in the year, and they wound up winning that. Series as well too against the. I'm trying to figure out when the Cubs and Cardinals played because they played each other this year. From what no, this is their first time meeting up this year. I'm so sorry. It is their first time meeting this year. But you got Stroman and Milwaukee going at it. This is one of the greater rivalries in all of baseball as well, too. The Mason-Dixon line, as you like to say, Illinois versus Missouri. So, this is going to be a good one tonight at Wrigley Field. You got Stroman on the mound who's pitching lights out. Stroman actually struggled a bit in his last game, but he was able to get them he was able to keep things in order. So pretty much he got 5 strikeouts last game. He only gave up a run, only gave up 2 runs before that. The only time he's been shellacked this year was against the Dodgers. Mikolas has been very, very, very inconsistent this year. Even though he hasn't had games where it got absolutely out of hand, the first 3 games of the year, he wound up giving up 16 runs in total. But since that point, he's only given up 9 in his last 4 starts. Now, he did strike out 5 in his last game against the Angels, and he gave up only 3 runs in that spot, but he only pitched 5 2/3. So on the season, in appearing in 7 games, he's only been able to be a part of the decision twice. And so that makes him 1-1. So pretty much with this, it's not that they're losing games when he's pitching, it's that pretty much teams are scoring when he's out there as well. So I would say that this one winds up being a pretty good game, all in all. And what I like here is I really truly like the 1.5 to the Cubs plus 155. I think that the Cubs win this game by 2 or more. You just have such a struggling team in the Cardinals, and I think that that's going to just keep lingering. They're 11-24. I did not expect them to be this bad. I think that at one point they'll probably be back, winning games at some point during the season. But at this point right now, they are awful. So let's go ahead and move forward, talk about our next game at hand. That's going to be the Astros and the Angels. This game is going to be at the Big A tonight. You got the Astros coming in here 17-17, the Angels 19-16. Kind of a surprise that you have an Angels team that has a better record than this Astros team at this point, but it's still early in the season. And you have this Angels team that's actually sitting 2 games out of first place as we speak. And they had a pretty good weekend this weekend against the Texas Rangers, who beat them up 16-18 yesterday, but they were able to win the first game of the series. They won 2 out of 3 there, and they got 3 coming up here against Houston. So, this team is trying to figure out a way to get into first place. You got Houston, who's tied with Seattle in the third place category. They're both 17-17, but the Angels, this is a confidence move for the Angels right now to be second place ahead of 2 teams that were supposed to be better than you, right? And then the team that's ahead of you is a team that everybody felt that was maybe about a year or 2 away from being good. But what did I tell you guys for 2 months before the season started? That the Rangers were going to be a damn good team. And when you added DeGrom, you made that team that much better, and you really made them more of a contender than they've been in years. So, once again, excluding the A's, we're in a wide open division when it comes down to the West. So, the West might not get one until the final week of the season, in my opinion. I think that they're going to have a carousel of different leaders in this division as well, too. So, with this game tonight, I truly do feel like it's going to be on the pitchers, but I know when you look at the pitching matchup, you say to yourself that this one should wind up working out pretty good to the point to where we get ourselves some scoring going on both sides. And I think that's absolutely the key tonight. And when I look at the matchup and I see Hunter Brown pitching, he's a guy that is new to the mix somewhat, but he's supposed to be a guy that's supposed to help them pick up where they left off at, with their great pitchers of before. And last game he did decent with San Francisco. He gave up 2 runs, actually suffered his first loss of the season in that game as well, too. But he only gave up 2 runs that day, but they didn't score enough that day either. That was the biggest problem with that day. And wound up having 4 strikeouts. But before that, did very good against Tampa Bay, struck out 8 in that game, walked 2. So that was a good effort by him. But other than that, it's been a little back and forth with him. 4 runs against Atlanta, 2 runs against Texas. He gave up a run against Minnesota. He gave up 4 against Detroit in his debut. So you look at it and you say to yourself, the guy can get hit. That's why we're doing this. And then Sandoval came out blazing to start the season. I would say in the last 3 games, though, he bounced back pretty good in the last game, but 2 games prior to that, he had gave up 8 runs and had walked 6 in that process as well, too. And this was over 11 innings. So I think that, all in all, Sandoval is always a wild card on how good he's going to be. And he didn't give up a lot of runs in the last game, but tonight I think that he's going to get hit a little bit because it seems like Houston knows him very, very well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into our final game, which is going to be the Nats and the Giants. You know what? This game is not that far apart. And I say this, I think that the Giants are a bad favorite tonight. Yeah, I know that Descalani is pitching tonight. He's 3-1, 2.13 ERA. He did very well in his last game against Houston. He went 8, struck out 3, only gave up 3 hits, gave up no runs. His last home outing, he gave up 2 runs, struck out 6 against St. Louis, only walked 1. And he did pretty good against the Mets as well, too, but he gave up 4 runs in that game, too. So, Descalani is not the type of pitcher that I say, okay, I trust you with a minus 225. Now, he's going against Jake Irvin. Jake Irvin's more of a kind of a spot starter in a sense, but Jake Irvin did do well in his last game, but he walked more than he struck out. He walked 4, struck out 3, but he finished with a 2.08 ERA for that game, only gave up a run and gave up 2 hits for that game. But all in all, it seems like he has some control issues, and I know that's why they're looking at this and saying to themselves, this might be a tough game for them tonight, but the plus 180 is one of the better odds tonight on a team as well. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take the plus 1.5 in this spot and say that they keep this game close. But you can make this a dog play. But I'm rather go with the home dog today in the Orioles, the Beltway rival on the other side, and see what they can get from me today because they're playing the better baseball, and it seems like their chances are just a little bit better in that spot. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and when I get back, we're going to jump into Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, so there we are, and pretty much what you got. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Talking Tickets. Talking Tickets is going to look a little something like this. $76-1 Orioles money line plus 155. Under 8.5 Dodgers Brewers. 1.5 to the Cubs plus 155 today. Also, we got the over 9 with the Astros and the Angels. Then we have the Mariners money line minus 175. And then we have the Nats plus 1.5 minus 105. 76-1. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. So we got the Knicks and the Heat. Game 4 bets over 208 with the Knicks money line plus 130 first half. Plus 1 Knicks first quarter and the Heat under 106 team total. Then we have the Warriors-Lakers game 4 bets. Lakers money line minus 150. Yes, Homer J. Simpson. Sorry about that, but I'm not going to sit up here and be like, well, the Warriors are going to win tonight. No, I don't think the Warriors are going to win tonight, and that's not because I'm with the Lakers or anything like that. I just think that pretty much that the Lakers have figured out some things here at home, and with the Warriors' approach about their approach in games isn't helpful. Like, stop looking for ref help all the time. Stop looking for a foul all the time. You know what I mean? Like, the Lakers are just playing. That's why the Lakers are getting what they want. But I know Scott Foster is going to be in the house, so everybody has their conspiracy theories already queued up. So it is what it is. I like the Lakers with the -2 in the first half tonight as well. I also like the over 56 in the first quarter as well, too. And then I like the Lakers to go over the 114.5 tonight as well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We'll go from there. And I think that the game does go over as well, too. And I really feel like the Heat game goes over. I feel like the Knicks keep things very, very good in the first half for themselves, show that they can keep up with this team, and show that it's not a one-sided series like they want it to be, that this series is a lot longer than most even assume it's going to be. This series is going 7. It has it written all over it, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but that's going to be our tickets for today, and I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in. You guys are the absolute best. And with that, I want to go ahead and tell you what I always say. Bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa, and I'll be right back at you tomorrow, and you guys have a beautiful Monday, and enjoy the games tonight, and I can't wait to talk about them with you guys tomorrow, and I have some more tickets for you and some more great angles for you, and let's just keep on cashing those tickets. For that, and with that, I am gone.
Now you and your friends can compete in the
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.